Hi, I'm Chad Aaron with the Aaron team. This video is we're going to talk about buyer-broker agreements. What are they? What are they used for? Why do I need them? Well, first off, we got to know that back in August of 2024, National Association of Realtors, NAR, settled a class action lawsuit regarding a compensation for buyer brokers. Previous to August, we would list a commission in MLS. That commission would be paid to the agent who brought the buyer, paid for by the seller. And there was never really a written agreement for this. It was always on the listing agreement. It was always negotiable between seller on what they wanted to offer compensation to a buyer broker. We would put that number in MLS and it would be paid in that manner. So back in August, when they made this change, they removed the offer for compensation out of MLS, which basically removes that buyer broker commission. And then they also required that all buyers must have a signed agreement with a buyer broker. So the buyer broker agreement itself, the employment agreement, has been around for years and years and years. However, now they've made some changes to it. There's a couple different options as well to use different styles of agreements. Mostly there is a buyer employment agreement that basically connects the agent to the buyer. It sets a commission amount that will be paid to the agent, and most likely the seller will be still paying that compensation. But in the case that there was not a compensation offered by the seller, then the buyer could be ultimately responsible for that commission. So definitely things to talk about and see how these parameters and changes are going to affect. There's also an agreement to show. Basically means that an agent is not tied to the buyer is not tied to the agent, but they're going to go tour some properties, and if they find one that they like within that day or that time frame that they show, then that compensation would be paid to the agent, either via the buyer himself or from the seller as negotiated. So it basically is the same it was before. You've got a couple different forms to use. Everything is always negotiable. It always has been. Now this certainly makes it more clear cut as to what could happen, what can't happen, and how much would be paid. So definitely something to look at, but the reality is now that anytime I go show a buyer a property that's not one of my listings, I do need a document signed prior to going there, and that's going to stipulate a time frame and a commission amount. So currently, I have not run into scenarios where a seller is not offering a co-broke, a compensation. So all of the cases so far are still being the same that they were before, meaning that the seller was paying that compensation. So it hasn't realistically changed outside of these documents required, but you do want to keep an eye out for it and know that you'd be asked to sign that if you're going to go look to tour properties. So any questions on it, reach out to me directly. My number is 602-740-2074. Again, I'm Chad Aaron with the Aaron team. Thanks for watching.